are back. Gold pre-made matchup on the way. Maui Chums versus Old Guys Texas, kicking it off here on Red Card Hardpoint, my favorite map. Teamwork, what do we got going down with the boys?
So far it is the Maui Chums just coming out with a hot start, getting the first couple big kills here. You do have Grudge and Dino able to fire back a little bit here from OGT, but this is going to be a classic matchup here. We got 2-0 for both squads coming into this to start out the season here. So it's, again, like we saw in the earlier matchup, kind of vying to keep the streak alive.
I'm going to try to go to 3-0. No one wants to stay at 2-0. Nobody wants to go to 2-1. But this matchup will determine just that. Maui Chums getting ready to cook off a little bit early here. OGT getting a little bit of that cleanup time, but the rotation should be in favor of Maui here unless we get some crazy spawns, which we should. The number one player's far enough back there. So we'll see how it's going to go. As OGT pick up the kills they need, they're going to start pushing out the map. They're going to get on that time. They should be able to get some of these cutoffs as well with these new players pushing up from Maui. Relaxion's going to get a nice kill in the hill. Has to do a nice little relax of his own in there while he waits for his teammates to push on up. But Maui Chums now trying to kind of retake their side of the map.
You got to start through the front, and you also need to control mid as well. And they've done a good job of at least getting through the front there, and you can see that that number 4 and that number 1 player just locking down the hedge area of the map. So important to try and really get some time on this hill. You can see what happens when you give it up. They just immediately hop right back in. OGT splitting off time really well here, but as the new hill is starting to pop, you're going to see OGT and those green arrows start to flow towards the top side of your mini map there and locking down that P3.
Shout out to P3. Always a fun hill. Some decent time can go the way of either team who gets early control of this. But right now, we've got spawns from Maui Chums completely surrounding this hill right now. Got number 2 player going to be the first one up here. But you got to be careful. OGT's got players in position to push back. Trying to make some moves. Picks up 2 kills just like that on a 5-3. Does end up going down, but makes a little bit of space for his teammates. Should allow things to open back up. Maui Chums, though, getting some kills in return. Starting to push into these spawns. But there we go. They lose 3. Aizen now by himself. 1v4 up here while the teammates respawn. Is going to get taken down.
He gets taken down here, and you can just see how that close spawn is working out. Tiki sliding across for a very stylish kill here as 600 is able to hop in for that last 10 seconds or so. So Maui Chums going to keep it very close if they continue to hold this scrap here, looking like they will. And they are in fact set up over in the stadium side of the map for that P4 to pop. And this is a hill you typically don't get very many points on at all.
Yeah, that's a lot of contesting back. Well, a lot of white count, less of contesting. A lot of death is what happens over here. But right now, we got a nice little player on here. It's going to be 600, ends up getting taken down. The person who takes him out is going to go sit on that time for just a little bit, but now Maui Chums retake the location. So they're going to have to try to push on in, get this player pushed on out, and pay attention to the respawners coming in. 2 players push in, they pick up those kills, and now you got to watch out. Tiki Clutch going to piece you up. Picks up 1, looking for some more. Going to take this AR around the back, picks up another one on the hill, looking for a little bit more. I mean, look at him go right now. Tiki Clutch just getting these kills for free right now. These players not even sure where he's at right now, but 600 finally going to take him out, make sure the player on the stage is gone. 10 seconds left on this hill. We're going to rotate on over, get this next kill pop on up. Going to be in towards the inside of the stadium practically here in the suites area. You can see OGT. Have to try to hold this one down here.
Yeah, they have a really good setup here so far. They're kind of locking down those inner rooms and hoping to funnel these players through the back. But they do have a little split situation here as Maui Chums were able to kind of surround the hill and just poke big holes in this defense. But OGT able to fire back with a couple trades. Relations does get picked up, and Impo was able to find Tiki Clutch towards the hill as well. So that's Maui Chums able to hop in. They're going to start collecting some bones here, but they're going to have to hold on as you got a guy like Googe, 14 and 10, having a great start to this map. You're going to have to find a way to deal with him.
You got to keep on moving and grooving. Just kind of like everyone in this lobby just occasionally popping a 2-piece because you know you got to do what you got to do. Welcome to gold, right? Everyone's got that talent. Everyone's got the ability to shoot and move a little bit. But OGT doing better in the slang if you look at the scoreboard, right? But losing overall, down by about 20 points here. Maui Chums being very efficient with it, doing a great job. Just constantly keeping that pressure up and getting a lot of this spare time just randomly when no one should be getting really anything. But OGT, they get the kills they need. They start pushing through, starting to get set up for the P1, P2, like full-on setup here. Dino kind of just breaks out through that middle of the map portion. Not getting a kill quite yet, but being quite the distraction. Finally gets one, but does get traded out. But not going to matter much because OGT finally going to be back on that time in control here. See if Maui Chums can push this one right back in. They've got 2 players pushing up. 2 from the inside, 1 from the outside, trying to make some moves. And Dino trying to cut this player back off. The fight over by the ambulance always goes hard. I tell you that every single time. But some nice kills coming in from OGT.
Yeah, this is some really good time here for OGT. They've done a good job of just kind of funneling these players across. They're going to have to find a way to maybe flip these spawns out here, at least for the moment. Or at the very least, you need to continue to just lock down the middle of the map and keep that pressure on, because you can kind of pin the close spawns in those spawns here on this hill. It's sometimes maybe good, or sometimes maybe shit.
Yeah, sometimes maybe die a lot.
Yeah.
Happens, so what are you going to do? OGT, I mean, Tiki Clutch on another 5 streak, 21-13 is wild. Like, the guy doesn't know how to do anything except for absolutely destroy people. So, expected. But does finally die. OGT going to have a nice little 17-point lead at the moment. Nowhere near comfortable, but doing a good job as far as outslaying is concerned. They have to do a little better job with the map control side. We'll see how it goes there as Empo picks up 3. Elzen going to pick up the 4th, and just like that, Maui Chums going to be able to get back on that time. Only 20 seconds remaining, so we should see a massive rotation coming in here. So Maui Chums get the OGT guys pushed all the way to that deep spawn, which is where they want them, but they are not getting the rotation quite yet. But number 2 and 3, they spawn all the way up towards the back. They rotate towards that new hill. There should be a call out, though, that a couple players were missing, so we should see the number 5 and 7 player. They are going to be around the back. Nobody knows they're there quite yet, but Maui Chums should know they've got some players that are rogue at the moment.
Yeah, Dino took the absolute god route, went all the way to the back of the map there, but number 1 still spawned back there, though, so it didn't quite pay off for him yet. Eisen gets a big kill around the hill. Dino is able to find the 2-piece to clean it off, though, and that should be spawn secured for OGT, at least for the moment, but they got to deal with the pressure from the Maui Chums coming on the front side, and so far, able to deal with it as Impo is going to come in through the stairs here. Eisen able to find 1. Impo finally gets that kill there. And I mean, this is just back and forth CNK. Nobody can get a firm grip on any of these hills.
It's not what you can do. I mean, OGT are just doing a great job when it comes to kills. But Maui Chums just always there, keeping the pressure alive, getting the trades when they need to. And just a lot of times they've just got spawns on lockdown. I mean, they've got it for sure. But only a couple seconds left on this hill. The Maui Chums will grab that, be up by exactly 30 points on this rotation. I say 30. But, you know, we're cooking.
Cooking indeed. Maui Chums locking down that bottom stair there. Ooh, Eisen with a good angle from the top. I mean, that's just a tough spot to be in if you're Dino. There's not really a whole lot of places you can go. There's a lot of arrows over there.
I like the swing of that 3 actions, you know. Gets the kill up top, and guess what? Another player there. I wasn't going to be just cooking over the top, but Tiki Clutch is doing what Tiki Clutch does. We need a 2-piece. Guess what? I already got the 2-piece. Doesn't matter. But if they get this last 25 seconds, that'd be massive. But yeah, I was just going to say, looks like they're going to get shot at a little bit from underneath there. But no big deal. That'll happen every once in a while. That stage can be shot through, and you're going to see that happen all the time. Maui Chums, okay, grab the last 10 seconds or so. They're starting to heat up quite a bit when it comes to the killing department as well. The slaying it, that is. But the rotation is into the new hill here, so we get ourselves on over to the outside of the map, well, the inside of the map, technically. But the opposite side of the map, that is. So we'll see what's going to happen here. OGT first one's on. Maui Chums trying to fight this one back. Couple players here from both teams just trying to fight it out. But that early control is always absolutely chaotic for this hill. Not that it's never not chaotic for this hill, but the early part of it is always the worst. OGT, though, they pick up the kills they need. They hop on that time. But they desperately need as well with how back and forth this has been. You can't let Maui Chums get anywhere near a massive lead.
I really like that play there out of the Chums to try and just get through the middle of the map here. Control that I fully expected them to run into the office building there and ticket, but they just opted to just hit the hill. And honestly, white time is great time for them right now. They just need to kind of force these players back and pick up scrap as they have been all game, and you can find yourself still walking away with this hard point. But the way OGT is kind of turning up a little bit, it's making it a little close or too close for comfort here. Maui Chums are going to have to really stomp out the fire that is starting to grow in the OGT camp if they want to get this map won.
Map 1 starting to get a little bit sketchy here if you're the side of OGT, but Maui Chums starting to smile a little bit. That P1 is going to be a little bit of a slaughter as you see 3 players from Maui Chums go down, 1 from OGT. Going to be some back and forth a bit here, as that's how it is just going to be all game long. Probably all series long as well. Okay, LG. All right, buddy. All right. Calm her down. But OGT, once again, they pick up 3 kills, but once again, nobody on the time yet. There we go. Someone from OGT finally gets on the time. Getting plenty of kills, but a lot of times it does not equal time for the side of OGT. They're getting some very nice time right now. It is going to get countered just a little bit, but they're back on. And just like that, Maui Chums, they stop it once again. They're going to probably try to grab that last 10 seconds of scrap time as the rotation comes into that P2, which will be a pretty big kill for both sides here.
Yeah, if you're OGT, you really don't even want to give up the scrap time. You can see those players trying to play through the hill, but just a little too late here. Is now they're going to have to try and fight across the middle of this map right into the jaws of this Maui Chum setup. And Elzen putting down some nice shots. Little help from 600, going to secure that kill. As Googe is able to find a big one, it's going to be up to the rest of his team to find the rest. And Tiki and Dino do just that. They're quickly traded out by Impo, though, who's not able to lock that hill down anymore. OGT being very scrappy here towards the end, CNK.
Yeah, I mean, OGT, I mean, it's do or die now, though. You don't want to lose this map one bit. Maui Chums up by about 24 points. So you got to be nice and careful here from the side of OGT. But 3 kills coming from the side of Maui Chums. They've got those close spawns. They're on the time, grabbing a bunch of that there. Got to be pretty careful here. They can win it just barely off that one last little tick. But Dino going to contest. They can no longer win it here if you're Maui. But OGT, you have to try to stop this time. But you also have to hit the rotation here. They are going to get the decent spawns for it, as they're going to spawn much closer than the side of Maui Chums. They should get that last kill as well, just like that. OGT is here. The setup should be in as well. They themselves can also win this one here if they set up well enough.
Yeah, you got to hold your horses. I mean, they're not out of it just yet. OGT keeping this very scrappy, keeping the hard point within reach. It's going to come down to this break off here. It's a big kill from Tiki, quickly traded out by 600. Now Impo and the crew are going to try to get in here. Got a couple trophy systems to lock down the hill. Googe immediately gets fried. Relations able to find a big one on the backside, and the trades are firing out. But you do see Maui Chum starting to spawn in towards the back. This can get real hairy.
I mean, real hairy indeed. OGT back on this time. They were down by 25 points a little bit ago. Now they're tied all the way up, 242, 241. OGT getting the kills they need. You got to be careful. Maui Chums, you're getting taken out pretty quick. One player there. Empo needs a little bit of help. Just staying alive, keeping it contested, doing the dream job. Right now, stays alive just barely. No longer can OGT win it, but Maui Chums can just barely win if this one's not contested. It gets contested indeed. The rotation is going to have to come in. Both these teams fighting for it, but Maui Chums are there. They're going to get the time with no one to contest. 250 to 242 as Maui Chums steal the map at the end.
Whew. I mean, they had to work for it. There is no free lunch here on Red Card, and OGT were so close to firing back in that hard point. And what a bang out map 1 that was. I mean, and it really comes down to the Maui Chums, the way they were just kind of working as a team. You could see them really waiting on each other in those key break moments and kind of, you know, hitting it as a team, really working those trades, and it paid